So let's start out with an easy one to do that we get in the habit of not doing as we progress. Number one is we spend a lot of time hunched over driving. We spend a lot of time hunched over at the typewriter. We spend a lot of time just hunched over. We get kind of lazy. Not only does this help decrease our balance, but look what it's doing. It's cutting off our internal organs, which can lead to digestive issues. So we want to straighten up. You know what your mom always told you, stand up straight, honey, stand up straight. I'm not suggesting you have to walk with a book on your head, as my mom told me I had to, but a simple alignment exercise of keeping your ears over your shoulders over your hips. Also, stand up against the wall. Can the back of your head, your shoulders, and your tailbone, can you line that up against the wall? That's really important. If not, I want you to go over to the wall, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, and just practice that, which means taking the shoulders back. Arms are not meant to be like this. Notice how that cuts off our heart region too. We want to keep our heart open to all the great experiences that GetSetUp offers and that is offered to you in life. So the back of the head against the wall, shoulders against the wall, and the tailbone against the wall. Stand like, now you're probably not used to standing like this. You probably feel like, it feels really awkward. That's because for so many years we've not had alignment as the key issue. So let's do that one. We're just gonna stand, spread your toes wide. That really helps with balance too. Even if you have your shoes on, spread your toes wide. What causes a lot of people to come off balance is when they're walking on the edge of their feet. Look at your shoes. Is your heel worn out on one side more than the other? That shows you that you're not walking with your entire foot on the floor. The next one is feet articulation. Feet articulation is really important. Did you know that Nikola Tesla scrunched his toes 100 times a day? Feet articulation. If you have a small ball, maybe a tennis ball or any ball that you have laying around, put it on. You can sit and do this one seated, or better would be standing on one foot. But roll the ball around your foot, back and forth, getting all edges. This is really important in Pilates. Joseph Pilates always started out with feet articulation because he knew how important it was for balance. So let's do some feet articulation. Maybe just scrunch your toes 5 or 6 times. You can do this one again, even seated. Maybe you're driving around, but you're not driving. Let's say someone else is driving you. Just scrunch your toes about 5 or 6 times. Good. Then the other side, scrunch, scrunch. Your feet keep you upright, so we want to make sure that our feet are strong. Good. All right. This one you can do even before you get out of bed. I'm going to demonstrate it standing, but even before you get out of bed, Carol, she wrote the book, Carol says, make an X. So you're going to make an X, you're going to spread your legs apart, maybe kick the person out of bed that you're sleeping with, I don't know. Make an X, take the arms up, and just reach your fingers to the opposite sides of the bed, reach your toes to the opposite sides of the bed. This gets the blood going. Sometimes that's another key too. The blood will pool. You notice when your foot might fall asleep and then you try to stand up and you fall. So we want to keep that blood flow going at all times. So the movement, the balance, the alignment, that's going to help so that you don't fall. So let's just do that. If you're standing or if you're laying down or even seated in a chair, you could do this in your chair. And stretch with an X. Stretch and breathe. Good. Another important one that she talks about is brushing your teeth. What does that have to do with it? We're going to brush our teeth in a new way. So I've got our toothbrush. I'm here at the sink and I'm brushing my teeth. Brush, 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 brush. What do I have? A foot lifted, standing on one leg. Brush, 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 brush. Got that? Stand on the other, because sometimes our balance feels really good on one side, but not so much the other. So we're going to make sure we balance out our balance exercises. All right. You can even switch hands if you want. Brush, 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 brush. You'll be brushing your teeth like for 10 minutes a day. Brush, 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 brush. And good. Now, that's something, as Carol mentions in her book, that's something you're incorporating in your everyday activity, which is really important because we won't always be in a situation where we're just standing still. I know my mom, she just tripped while walking. I don't even know what she tripped over. So we want to make sure that we've got good grounding with our feet, good strong core region, and that we're used to being off balance a little bit, because even when you come off balance, you want to be able to catch yourself before you fall all the way down. And that's what can happen when you're brushing your teeth, start to come off balance. Set that foot down and regroup. Good. Another one is a forward fold. You might think, what does a forward fold have to do with it? A forward fold helps you align your legs so that you can keep a steady balance throughout your hips and legs. So I'm just going to inhale, lift my arms overhead. Do this with me. Come on. Lift up. Remember, we're lifting up out of the core region. We're not slouching. That creates some bad balance when your shoulders are hunched forward. We're lifting up out of the core region. And then come to a forward fold. If you're dealing with a back issue, bend your knees, take your hands on your thighs, and just hang out here. If you're not dealing with a back issue, straighten your legs a little bit more. Release your hands, maybe to your shins, maybe to the floor. Bring your forehead closer to your knees if possible. Now, where the real balance challenge comes in is getting back up without falling over or without getting dizzy. So the best way to do that is to bend your knees slightly. Make sure your feet are about hip width apart, and then slowly come up. Keeping your gaze down so you don't get dizzy, coming back up. All right, lifting the arms overhead. Do you feel balanced? Some people, even coming out of a forward fold, they don't feel that balance. So let's do that again. Inhale, lift. Not overarching, not slouching forward. And exhale, slowly coming forward. Now maybe you feel a little bit wobbly here, so I want you to widen your stance, bend your knees, take your hands on your thighs, and hang out here. If you feel balanced, you could straighten the legs a little bit more and slowly come down. Only go as far as to where you feel balanced, and once you have that stability, you can try to go a little bit farther. Let me just say that the closer together you have your feet, that's harder to balance. So you can even think about that when you're walking. Maybe you're walking on an even surface. You don't have to walk foot in front of a foot. Kind of spread your feet apart a little bit. It doesn't mean you're walking like this, but spread your feet apart a little bit more, and you'll create a little bit more balance when the feet are in line with the hip. Are you still in that forward fold? Okay, I don't want to keep you there forever. Bend the knees if you need to. If you need help getting up, take your hands on your thighs and slowly get up. Carol also mentions in her book, one of the keys to balance is to be able to get on the floor and off the floor every day. Do you want to try that? Okay, so what we're going to do, use the chair if you need to, and just get on the floor. Excellent. Now, if you need the chair to help you get up, do that. If you can get up just using your hands, do that. Maybe you don't even need your hands, and some of you can just get up off the floor. So I suggest you do that one every day, on and off the floor. I remember when I started teaching yoga, or not started teaching, I was teaching yoga for a long time, maybe about 15 years or so. And one of my students said, could you teach yoga at home to my mother? I said, sure. So I went over and I started teaching her yoga. And I said, oh, I also teach another lady. I teach her private classes. She's about your age. And the woman said, how old do you think I am? I said, oh, maybe about 80. She goes, no, I'm 99. 99. So she started yoga, she started balancing at the age of 99. And her reason, she wanted to be able to get on the floor and off the floor so she could play with her great-grandkids. So whatever your reason is, avoiding falling, wanting to create more stability, more balance, do these balance exercises, practice standing on one foot, and we'll see you in the next class. Thank you.